Welcome back, everybody. What I thought I would do today is just a really short video on how to deploy the website that we've been working on to Azure. And this is different from creating the resource being our database. This is actually now going to be deploying the entire web application to a server. So the first thing that we want to do is, you'll notice my recent resources. I've got Georgian grocery store. What I want to do, and we did that 3 weeks ago actually, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do create a resource right here. From here, I'm going to choose web app. So we already have this resource group right here, so we don't have to choose a different one. So I've got Georgian grocery store, and I'm going to create a name here, and we'll call it Georgian groceries. Okay, and that'll end up being georgiangroceries.azurewebsite.net. Okay, and then our runtime stack is going to be .NET Core 3.1. Okay, and the operating system will remain as Windows. And we can pick a region, and I don't see, there's Canada East, Canada Central. Let's see. Let's just go with Canada East. Okay. And then we need to make sure that we're still under the free tier right here. Okay. So if you're not under the free tier, then you'll have to go back up here and pick a free region until you are into a free tiered or under a free plan. Then finally just select review and create. Okay, and you can see that it's still taking a bit of time. I have this note down here at the bottom. It says your app and selected application insights resource are in different regions, bandwidth. I'm going to actually go back to here, to the basic, and I'm actually going to change this to, let's say, Central US, review and create. And I want to see, okay, it went away. I don't want to give it any excuse to have challenges, but notice we are still in the free tier. So I'm still happy it's free. It gives us only a gigabyte of memory, but that's okay. And now I'm going to hit create. And it's going to take a bit of time to set up our website. So deployment in progress. So it's done deploying. And in this particular case, we are not going to be doing FTP of our code. What we're actually going to do is connect this up with our GitHub. And this will start to, as we update our code, we push it to GitHub. From GitHub, it will now start to be updated on the actual Azure server. I do want to take a minute just to do a very quick review and understand that we just created this Georgian Groceries web service. But there is a challenge with this. In the previous video, because I wasn't intending on deploying mine to Azure and I didn't want to continue on with losing my Azure credits, I actually deleted my SQL database in Azure. So I actually have to go back and reinstate that database. I'm going to just start over from the beginning with that. And then I'm going to connect into my server. Okay, into Management Studio, because as you can see here, I'm connected into Azure, into a database that was really just an echo of what I did before. But notice there's actually no database in there, and there are no tables of any kind. So what I'm going to do, if you're in the same situation, if you did what I did and you deleted yours at the end, what I'm going to do is go through the steps and recreate another database. And then we've got this app service, and we're going to connect everything all up, and we're going to do it through our GitHub. Okay. So we'll follow the steps again right here. So create a resource. It's very similar to what we had just done. And we'll go to databases. SQL database. And it's Azure for Students is what I want to keep. And let's see, there's this resource group, Georgian Grocery Store, and that's an echo of what we had the very first time we did this, which is also the same resource group as our new for the app. Okay, so I'm going to call this database name Georgian Georgian Groceries, and I'm going to do underscore, no, I'll call it underscore V2. Okay, and I'm not even sure if Georgian Groceries is spelled properly. So it says select a server. So I changed that to Georgian Grocery Store V2, and we have to create a server. So we go over to here, and what are we going to call this server? And I think we can call it the same as last time. So I've unfortunately gone ahead and made my new server here. I've given it this name, but the record button actually turned off somehow. I don't know what I'm doing with this recording stuff. Anyway, the way to do that is you do create new, and you give it the name that you want. You're the one naming your server. Give it your server name, your admin login name. Mine is Tom Marazzo. And then give it a password. Okay, 2 passwords. And then I'm going to select Central Canada. Okay, and let's go with this. I'd never selected this on the other one, but that's okay. So what happened was, now that I've created mine, now it's in my dropdown. Okay, you see my old one here, Georgian Grocery Store, was there. Now we're in the new one, Georgian Grocery Stores, Georgian Groceries V2. Okay, so the next thing that I have to do in this, I will keep my want to use SQL Elastic Pool. I'm going to set that to no. I'll keep the default. Then this configure database. Okay, and I'm definitely, I want to go to the far end of this. And you can see here it's $1.40 times 5. You can't really do much with this, you know, other than that. And now I'm going to actually hit apply. Okay, and then I'm going to continue on. So it looks like I'm happy with everything so far. So I'm going to do review and create. And this is the pricing details. This is everything that I want in here. I want to take one last look at this pricing details. There's not really much I can do with this, to be honest, but I'm going to continue on, and I'm going to do a create. So it's deploying it. Okay, and it's going to take a second. Great, now it is actually deployed. Okay, so I'm going to hit this go to resource. Okay, and right in the middle, we have to go and address our firewall. Okay, so just before I do that, I want to go back and, okay, there it is. This is our new resource that we've got. Okay, and I'm looking at this, and this basic pricing tier is basic. That's okay. So now I want to go set the server firewall. Okay, and in here, I think what I will do is add this, have to add a rule. So what I need to do is halfway down, say allow Azure services and resources to access this server. So yes, but I have to, so I'm going to call this public access or view. And I need to set this to 0.0.0. That should be it. And then 255.255. Okay. And that's good. I've got this public access rule now. Okay. So I want to be able to access this. That's why I'm doing this from, say, a different device, a laptop or something like that. And if I don't do this, I won't be able to access this from any other location. So I'll hit the save button right here. Updating was successfully done. And let's go back out. So now that I've got everything in here all set up and I'm happy, What I do need to do is go to where it says server name, and I'm going to copy that to the clipboard because I want to log into that through my management studio. Okay, so I'll do a disconnect on that, and I'm going to go to connect and database engine, and it brings up this screen. Okay, so now I want to paste that into there. Okay, same name, SQL Server Authentication, and I got to type in my password. Okay, and I'll just do a remember. It's easier for me, even though I'm probably going to forget this. Okay, so what we see here is I now have my Georgian Grocery Store V2 populated in here. Okay, and what's important to understand is there are no tables. And take a moment and sit there and honestly consider why there are no tables. Okay. And I'm going to get into it in a minute, and I'm going to go and get those tables. Okay. But I want you to think about the question, why is it that I'm not? And I'll give you a hint. I wasn't logged into my Azure database, the previous video. Okay, so that's your hint. There's one more thing before I give you the answer on what we got to do, in case you haven't figured it out. I am going to disconnect, okay, and I'm going to go up into here and to this local server group, and I'm going to expand that. Okay, so you see the last time it had this Azure, and then there's a comment. Okay, so what I'm going to actually do now is to go in, and I'll go down to new server registration. And this is going to come on here. So the server name that I'm actually looking at is now this version 2. Okay, and I'll put in my, the password's already saved, so I'm good with that. But I'm going to type in here, Azure. And this is so that I know that I'm not accidentally in my local server when I think I'm supposed to be in Azure. Okay, so this is connected to Azure. It is not local. Okay, and I'm gonna press save. Okay, and I've got this old one here, and maybe if I can just delete that. Yes. Okay, so now I've got that one there, and if I want to reconnect into that, I can. So there it is. Okay, and I'm gonna connect in. Okay, and I'll close. Let's see what's going on in here. Okay, there's my database right there. And you can see my little comment is right there. This is connected to Azure. It is not local. Perfect. Okay, and let's go back into Visual Studio. You can see here we've got the database. It's Georgian Groceries. Okay, now we changed the name of the actual Georgian Groceries. So let's go back to here and look at the name of the actual resource itself. Okay, we're calling ours Georgian Grocery Store V2. You know what, just to be simple, let's go back and we look at our resource group. Okay, and our resource group, or recent resource group, whatever, it tells us that our actual database name is this. Okay, so that's what we're going to actually use. Okay, we go back to here, and it's going to be Georgian Groceries V. Okay, and over here, I'm not going to go with integrated security equals true, but what I will do is I'm going to take that out of there. Control X, put that over here as a comment. Okay, and what I'll do here is on the other side of the semicolon is going to be user ID equals Tom MARAZZO, and it'll be a semicolon, and my password will be whatever I set to my password. Okay, go back to home, and now I want to actually go to my app service again. Okay, this is where this was the first stage we selected. I don't want to be in the database. I want to be in my app service. Okay, and right down here you see deployment, and I want to go to the deployment center. One quick other thing I do want to do is I went into, before I go to deployments, to deployment center, I want you to notice over here you've got this little URL. So if I click on that URL, it actually gives me my georgiangroceries.azurewebsites.net. Okay, it's just a little templated thing there. That's all it does. That's all it's doing for me right now. Okay, and what I want to do is go back and I'll go to Deployment Center. Okay, so I'm in the Deployment Center and I'm obviously I want to start connecting my GitHub. So you'll see it says not authorized. So we need to authorize this. And it's going to ask us basically to, you know, which account to sign into. Okay, and I am going to go and authorize app services. Okay, and then I put my password in there. Okay, so you see that it's loading, and there is my name right there. Okay. I'm going to then go to continue, and it brings me to build provider. And I'm not going to go to GitHub Actions right away. I'm going to go to app service build service. Okay. And I'm going to click on that, hit continue, and it brings me to here. So I'm here and it's going to look for the organization. So Tom, and it's going to start looking for repository. So we've got Georgian Computers. Okay. And we'll just stick with the master branch. So I will go to continue and now finish. Okay. Finish. And setting up deployment, successful setup deployment. Okay. So there it is. Okay. And you can see nothing's really too different there. Okay. And the reason this has not done anything yet is because if you notice the status right here, it says running deployment command. Okay, so I've got this log that if it succeeds, we'll see a change. It will succeed. And if it doesn't, then we can go to the log and find out what's going on. Okay, but this is going to take a little bit of time to do that deployment. So you can now see that my status is changed to success. So let's go and test it out. Let's go to the website. I'll hit refresh. And if we have any luck, it's actually going to be like our website. And let's go in and see if there's any data in there. So I'll go back to home. And actually, let's go and try product. Okay, so think about this for a moment, all the steps that we've gone through here. And I want to go back to this database right here. And I want you to be aware of something. Okay, look at the tables. The issue is there are no tables. Okay, we actually haven't migrated those tables over to it. Okay, we did all of that migration into the local, but we haven't actually done that migration here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is do add migration, and I'll call it tables to Azure. Okay, and then now we're going to do a update dash database. Okay, now let's go back into here and we'll do a refresh. And notice now all of our tables are in existence. Okay. So let's see if we have any products. Okay, and select the top 1,000 and see if there's any products in there. Okay, so it executed successfully, but it doesn't appear that we have any of the products that we had put in there previously. Okay. So now when I go back to my website on Azure and I do products, okay, you can see that that page is actually working now. So let's go with a vegan turkey, Thanksgiving dinner for vegans, turkey, price. I don't remember what I said before, and I don't have a category. That's okay, because I haven't actually created my categories yet. Okay, so let's actually do that. Let's go back, okay, and we're gonna say categories. IES, categories. So we'll create a new category and we're going to call it Thanksgiving dinner, create. Okay, we don't need to create a new category. We just need to do products. Okay, now we create a new product and we're going to say Thanksgiving dinner, just turkey. Turkey, Thanksgiving dinner, take a photo of a turkey, pick this one, Thanksgiving dinner, create. Okay, and now we're seeing everything persisted. So if we go into details, we see a much larger photo of this. And remember, this has all been deployed to our Azure server, okay? And one more thing, let's now run we'll execute that script again. Sorry. And you can see that it's right here. Okay. That item that we put into the database is now persisted fully on Azure. Okay. Now, the last thing I want to do is go back into Visual Studio. And I think I'm going to go to what view do I want to go and update? How about we go to the home view? And we change out this line of code maybe. Corny, I know. However, I just want to prove a point. Okay, so I've done an update down there, and I've got this, you can see the update, the red check mark in my index because I haven't pushed it to Git. So what I'm going to do is go and do a change. And I'm going to put in a comment that says migrated DBase to Azure and updated the home page. Okay, that's all I'm going to put in there. Okay. So I will do a commit all. And I'm going to sync that and I'll push it. Okay, so that's pushed out to GitHub. Now let's go back. Let's go back to our home page. Okay, and let's just give it a minute because it's going to take time to do this update all the way through Azure. Okay. So while that's waiting to update, what you can do is you can see that I've actually committed, if we go into our Azure page, I've committed this. So migrated database to Azure and updated to homepage. Okay, and then this is my last, this is now my active. So when I go in there and I refresh that, this should now be updated, this comment. So you are always one click away from your food. Okay. So the very last thing I want to show you in this video is that when you're in your deployment center, go to the very top, your overview. And because you've got that student version of Azure, the challenge is that if you're not using it, you're actually burning through your credits. Okay. So this is not a great plan. Now, if you want to look at it, you have to have it up and running. But if you are not working on it, or you're not making any updates or anything like that, then what you can do is you go to here, this stop button. Okay, are you sure you want to stop Georgian Groceries? I'm going to hit yes. Okay, successfully stop the web app. Successfully stop web app Georgian Groceries. Okay, so what you'll have to do is if you're going to go live with this, or you want anyone else to see it live on Azure, hint, 2% or 2 mark bonus, then you got to come in here and hit the start button and then go back to here. So because it's not active, you're getting this 403 error. So if I go to start again, it starts back up, and now I can refresh and it should come back to life. Okay, so that's the best way that you can actually go ahead, do some development work without eating up all of your credits. Okay, that's a pretty important step, and let's just make sure that the data is persisting. Okay, it takes a bit of time, and there it is. Okay, so that's all for now, and stay tuned for the next video lesson for the week, but this is supplemental to what we did in the previous video. Hope you had a good weekend, or have a good weekend, and we'll see you soon.